Welcome to Please Welcome, Heroic Productions series of in-person and virtual events where we explore people and topics of interest to our wide audience of meetings and events professionals. We are so excited today to welcome Wendy Wiesman to our Please Welcome studio. Wendy is the founder of Ready, Set, Pivot. Hello, Wendy.
Hi, Kitty. Thanks for having me today.
It's so nice to see you here, and we are thrilled to have you here in studio with us. You are our very first in podcast studio.
Special.
Guest.
Makes me feel special.
Yes.
Thanks for having me.
So it's wonderful to be able to sit here and have a conversation.
Totally.
We want to, we wanted to sit down and talk with you because I think your story is so interesting. I love when I can talk with other women who have made big, bold moves in their careers and in their lives. And we always want to share those as inspiring stories to our audiences. So that's what we're going to dig into today and try to spread the word far and wide about RSP,
Perfect.
Ready, Set, Pivot. So tell us a little bit about your background, because you made, as I said, you made a really big and bold move. Give us a bit of your corporate background.
Sure. Thanks for asking.
Yes.
So, fairly traditional, truth be told. My entire background is financial services and healthcare marketing. So, 15, 20 plus years, got that advertising degree and took my little leather pad portfolio, as I like to call it, to that first gig. And my first real true marketing job, I would say, was with TCF Bank at the time, right?
Okay.
Now the Huntingtons of the world.
Yep.
And I did what most of us Gen Xers do. Climbed the ladder, got the promotions, did all the things, which landed me in the chair of what I like to call acting CMO at Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Minnesota.
Okay.
So it was my last real, I would say, formal, traditional climb before I just jumped ship. I thought I was going to start a cheese store.
What?
When I left Blue Cross.
Seriously?
Yes, you probably don't know this piece of the
I know.
story.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
well, and first of all, I want to acknowledge big job.
Yeah, big job. Yeah, I did about a team of 30, great big budget, and responsibility and accountability for all product lines of business and all arenas of marketing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And the passion for cheese?
Yeah, the passion cheese. So, I'm a small town Wisconsin girl.
Okay.
I always like to say on some level, I'm not supposed to be here in an entrepreneurial chair, given that past and that trajectory. It was never part of the plan.
Okay.
But at the same time, those things unveil themselves to you. And next thing you know, you're not running a cheese store, you're running a startup organization. And
Right.
so, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So what was there a moment, or what was the driving force that told you I'm ready to leave corporate America and take a risk, basically?
Yeah, I think like many individuals that we serve, it's not always just one thing. It's a combination of things. I had been at Blue for 6 years. I felt like I in many ways had done everything I could do for my team. And there wasn't a lot more for me to do relative to the leadership that existed at that place and time.
Okay.
And so it became obvious to me that in some ways my work there was done. I felt really great about that. When I had started at the organization, we had a print buyer or a press check individual still as a part of the team. And when I left, we had been winning awards for content strategy nationally.
Wow.
And so nice trajectory, nice work. And it was just time to go on some level for that reason.
Yeah. Okay. So how did you move then from your dream of a cheese store to Ready, Set, Pivot?
Yeah. So like many individuals, I spent a lot of time in discovery. And today at Ready, Set, Pivot, we call that your set stage. You're really exploring. In some ways, I didn't know what I was doing, right? Like I thought, I'm going to try this. Then I consulted for a while, found out what I really didn't like, which is a great part of the process, I think, really knowing what we love, what doesn't feed our soul in the way that perhaps that achievement had in the past. And so I tried a bunch of things. And as I was doing that, I kept running across all these women who kept saying the same thing to me. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't know what I want to do, and I have no idea where to start. That is a reoccurring theme today with nearly every woman we meet with who is referred to RSP.
And What year did you start RSP?
Yeah, so I left Blue in 2018.
Okay.
And so we had our first gathering on March 20th, or March 11th of 2020, the day the NBA closed down and the day that Tom Hanks said he had COVID. We had 42 women together in one room.
Oh,
That was the last possible day that socially we could have convened anyone. And we were like, should we have a hand washing station? What is that? Why do we need that?
right.
And since that time, we've had a virtual happy hour nearly every month. That is part of how we engage and make change happen with our RSPers. And we will do our 43rd happy hour next month.
And I think that was also one of the reasons why we wanted to sit down and meet, because I know that your meetings, your gatherings, your events, that is central to how you communicate with this group. It's central to how you engage people, how you bring people in and spread the word. Talk a little bit more about that and how that works and why it works.
Yeah, we do our work through experiences, to your very point. And some of that is because that is my biggest, happiest passion spot. I believe that happiness is time well spent. So when I go to any experience, whether that's a concert or walking into a store, I'm looking for all of those things that are going to make me smile and bring surprise and delight. I think another factor with this audience is these are busy women. These are women who are the breadwinners in their families. They're caring for individuals, yet perhaps up and down the ladder. There's no time to waste. They are also the most impatient group of women you will ever meet. So we need to get on with it when we get together.
Yeah. And it makes sense that's, it's that desire for more. It's the always wanting to be enjoying what you're doing. That is that driving force that has made so many people, and not just women, but men too, say, I'm not enjoying this. Why am I going to spend these prime years doing something that I really don't enjoy doing?
Right.
So, very important. So, again, we are event professionals. We're always thinking about how do you engage people. It has become more and more difficult to surprise and delight people over time. So do you have any tips or things that you've seen that work really well and that you always make sure are infused in your experiences?
For me, I think it's about creating the right level of tension in the conversation so that we're edging up right against that level. And it's particularly unique in Minnesota, right? Because we don't like to ruffle feathers all that much.
Yeah.
But we want the tension to be right on the cusp of uncomfortable so that we can have a real conversation and it can be meaningful. And I think that's where we can then also catch people a little bit on the edge of their seats and keep them engaged. So we definitely want to get to the right level of tension. And then I also always want to have the conversation no one is having with no one I've heard from before. So you're always going to see us bring in speakers and voices you may have never heard of.
Yes, I love that. Because it seems, for those of us who go to conferences and trade shows and big meetings and events, it kind of felt like you started to see and hear from the same people for quite a while. And that just starts to be filler. It's just noise and it's not meaningful. I like that, the way that you phrased that you try to get right up to the moment of uncomfortable.
Yeah. How about you?
Ah.
What do you think is a key element?
If I had to pick one thing, because there are so many things that have to come together, if I had to pick one thing, I think it would be relevance to your audience.
Yeah.
I know that we are always thinking about that. Our clients are always thinking about that, knowing your audience and making sure that you're developing the right content, that you're putting the right people on the stage. So you're thinking about demographics, what sorts of things are there, that audience's interests, what will truly engage them. Because when you don't think about that first and foremost, you run a huge risk of missing the mark. There's one really, really good example. My team probably gets tired of hearing me use this one, but it's such a good one. A big brand that totally missed the mark because they didn't think about And when I reveal the brand, I know everybody will be like, how in the world could they not think about their audience? But they missed the mark. Harley Davidson in 2018, they were celebrating their 100th anniversary. They had the big rally, and they are known for bringing in the biggest and the best entertainment for their audience.
Right.
You know, this is the hardcore biker audience, the Harley enthusiast. They had REO Speedwagon, they had Joan Jett, they had drawing a blank now on on the lineup over the course of the few days, and there was one secret headliner. It would be the big reveal, and so rumors were flying. Was it going to be Bruce Springsteen? Was it going to be Rolling Stones? So, what do you think happened when Elton John walked out onto the stage? I can't think of really many situations where Elton John would be booed because he is such an amazing and loved entertainer, but not for that audience.
Right.
They missed the mark.
Yeah. Fair.
So relevance.
Yeah.
All the way.
Awesome.
Yeah. Oh, fun to share stories like this. I love it. So, what do people need to know about the work that you're doing? What do you want people to know?
Yeah, I think I was at a couple of meetings earlier today, and the conversation was someone was introducing me to someone else, and they were sharing how RSP is a networking group. And I was, yes, we do networking as a component of what it is we do. But at our core, RSP is about change. We are about making change happen for that individual. And, dare I say, in time for organizations, right? What sort of transformation is required in order to get to that next, whatever that is for you? So we are an organization that cares primarily about change. Our tag is for finding your what's next and moving that goal and plan forward. So we're going to hold you accountable. I like to say we're going to kick your butt, unlike, my spouse is highly supportive individual, but he will not kick my butt like you or any other RSPer who's going to really hold me accountable in the way an achieving woman will.
Yeah. Tell us about this.
Yeah, so this is the bag of the year from the fall experience. So each year we bring women together around the vision of the organization, and that is to challenge the universe to think differently about talented women and help them create new measures of success. If you, Kitty, decided tomorrow the event and experiential business was no longer your thing, and perhaps you wanted to become, let's say, a marketing customer success leader, we would work with you to help you understand what that pathway might look like, connect you with people who could unveil a day-to-day in the life of, talk to you about salary, because affordability is a huge real thing, particularly when we're talking about midlife and up. And that's part of the mission of the organization, is to challenge the universe to think differently about you and allow everyone to see you in that chair too. And so that day is designed around that thematic and helping to challenge the universe in different ways.
I love this. We are bold, we are strong, we are unstoppable. You handed this to me today, and I looked at it and I said, hell yes.
Exactly. Yes.
I love that. The topic of, I wasn't even planning on talking about this today, but it's relevant for us to talk about age and how it applies to people. I won't even just say women, but people who are reaching that point in their career where this is the irony. They feel like I am at the top of my career. I can look back at all of these companies that I've worked for, all of the years of training, all of the years of experience, and feel the most informed and able to think critically and apply all of this to my work. And yet so many employers look at people, I want to say even late 40s and above, as not that.
Yeah, it's crazy to me, right? It's really crazy because if you think about it, particularly Gen X, that niche sandwich generation of the amount of depth and breadth that you and I have had is kind of insane. And so to not afford us the opportunity to run fast and run harder, like I would actually say many RSPers want to today, is literally insane to me.
Yes. What do we do about it?
I think it's having conversations like this.
Yeah.
And I think it's inviting hiring managers and all the people you see on the About Us page of every website you've gone to into the room to share what it is, I'm looking for.
Yeah.
It's not that any of these women feel done.
Yeah.
It's in some ways a form of boredom and they've achieved and they've actually achieved everything they set out to do.
Yeah.
And they find themselves maybe less challenged. And so they are looking for that challenge again in a new way.
Yeah.
And they're recentering to some respect too,
Yeah.
which is fine and fair. And the pandemic, of course, helped individuals right size that and create some initial behavioral change.
Yeah, absolutely. I see you out and about all the time. I follow you on social channels. And I was like, oh, where is she now? What event is she at now? What's happening in our business community that you think people should know about?
Yeah, I think it's really important. You were saying this a little bit before we started. It's really important that we actually don't see all of the same people at the events, right?
Yep.
It's important that we invite others in. I think that's a responsibility that we have in this community to help individuals lift their heads up and maybe a little bit out of that 60-hour work week and come join us, and vice versa, because we gain so much from having them as a part of the conversation, so that there's this feedback of what we're all aiming for and need to do next for it to be a better working world. A large part of our conversation at the event this year was about the new world of work. That's maybe a cheesy macro level headline statement as a marketer, but I think nothing in the working world has shaken out in full quite yet.
Yes.
And so it's important for us to keep having that conversation
Yeah.
about how we want to work, who we want to work with, and why. There's no more important time to get to happiness and engagement, and that will create the retention too that organizations are looking for.
Yeah. Yeah, it is going to take a while, isn't it?
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
this to shake out.
Yeah.
What are you working on right now? So this event is past.
Yeah. So we are getting ready to secure space for this next year for that event.
Okay.
We're putting to paper the entire 24 plan. That's almost wrapped up with a bow. We'll have International Women's Day on March 7th here in Minneapolis. There may be another city that will begin to take part with International Women's Day and grow some of our audience, community, and connections too for next year.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
So you always have things going on. How can people get involved?
There's a couple ways this year. I think now more than ever, we really want to, we always invite people into the conversation when we're at an event or experience. We want to do that outside of those key times. We want women to be influencing the conversation that we'll have here this fall, and to hand raise. When, perhaps even just in your vertical, Kitty, when is there something that you think deserves a broader perspective of women that can help solve a problem? And make change happen. So it is about moving that conversation forward.
Yeah. Okay. I have two last questions for you as we start to wrap up. And I don't know if there are any questions from our audience. We're now using a little bit of a different platform here today, so I guess I didn't say that. If anybody does have questions, you're more than welcome to drop them here. And if we don't address them here while we are live, we'll make sure that the questions get over to Wendy, and you can perhaps reach out to those people. But so we're at the beginning of a holiday week here, as we were chatting here before we got started, and you can definitely feel that it is a holiday week.
Yeah.
Things are very quiet. We're hoping that people are taking some extra time for themselves. Wendy, what are you thankful for?
What am I thankful for? I'm thankful for people who connect like you have throughout the years, Kitty. I think there's always an openness that comes with people who approach or hand raise, and you've done that repeatedly throughout the years that I've known you. I'm very thankful for that. People that continue to do that, to open that door. And that's critical and important as we move women forward, so they can do whatever it is they want to next, whether that's buying the liquor store down the street with reoccurring revenue, or maybe a mosquito spray franchise, or moving into that new corporate role, we need individuals to continue to connect and hand raise and say, I will entertain that conversation with you
Yeah.
for your betterment. And so I'm grateful for that
Yeah.
selflessness that comes with that.
Yeah, wonderful. As I've gone through my career over the past 30 years and have really placed a lot of importance in networking, I've been so happy to see how many people are willing to connect and understand reciprocal networking.
Yeah.
That it's not just about what can you do for me, but come to the table with being able to truly reciprocate
Yeah. Yeah.
and always close a conversation with what can I do for
Yes.
you?
Yes. Yes. I just had that conversation
Yeah.
prior. At RSP, we talk about that as give and get.
Yes.
So when you join RSP, it's inherent and known that you are asked to give and you are asked to show up and ask for what you need. Because again,
Yes.
little Minnesota nice, sometimes we're not always as bold as we need to be, but I
true.
really do want to know what it is that you need to move this or any of the work that you're doing forward, because we all get further faster together.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, and one last question, Thanksgiving related.
Yes.
Is apple pie a Thanksgiving pie?
No way.
Thank you. That is the right answer.
No way ever. No. I mean, I might have apple pie, and I am responsible for the pies this year. So, and they will be 2 pumpkin. That's it.
2 pumpkin.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
Yeah, I'm in the camp of pumpkin and pecan.
Okay. Yeah,
Those
perfect.
are
I'm with you.
Thanksgiving. I don't understand fruit pies for Thanksgiving.
No, inappropriate.
So if you disagree, let us know. But I will just state for the record that that is the correct answer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, wonderful. So, well, we are going to wrap. Wendy, thank you so much for sharing your time with us today. If people would like to reach you, what is the best way for them
Yes,
to reach
well,
you?
of course, check out rspexperience.com. You can see our calendar for our events and what's coming up. Our next happy hour is on December 12th. And of course, your first happy hour is always free.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes.
Okay, great. Where will that be?
That event is virtual.
Oh, virtual.
Yep,
Okay,
yep.
good. BYOB.
Yeah, yep. And we do that. Yes.
Okay, good. All right. And as always, you can reach me on LinkedIn. My name is Kitty Hart. I am the Vice President of Brand Experience here at Heroic. My email address is right here on the screen for you. Make sure that you have followed Heroic on LinkedIn for more events and news, such as our next Please Welcome, which will take place on December 4th, right here virtually when I sit down with filmmaker, speaker, and television personality Amanda Brinkman. So we are really excited
Cool.
about that
Very cool.
conversation as well. From all of us here at Heroic, thank you for tuning in. We wish you and your families a Thanksgiving filled with peace and gratitude. Bye.
Bye.